UFO disclosure, reptilians, and the Antichrist, Part 1. It all started long before disclosure of UFO or alien files was even someone's crazy dream. There are people whom others trust, and there are those who are not trusted. Sometimes because some people just act weird, or sometimes because they have a past and gossip surrounding them, and sometimes because they are plainly dishonest or nasty. That is humankind for you. It takes all sorts to make the world go round. Having said that, there are those who make you tremble a little, who make you back off a little, whom you just do not like, even if or when you've only ever seen them in photographs. For me, such a person would be Prince Charles, or now King Charles. I remember him being interviewed, and he was asked about girlfriends and what qualities a wife should have. And he answered quite straightforwardly, but something happened to his face. There was a sudden glint in his eye. He looked sideways and he licked his lips. I saw the video likely even after the demise of Diana, so obviously it was recorded quite some time before he even met her. Well, I hope. I remember thinking, ugh, that is one large, scaly predator, or a rough bloke when it comes to the bedroom, or the lounge floor, or behind the barn, and I wondered how many actually came out from behind the barn. I also remember wondering whether he was quite human. Today, so many years later, it could be 30 years or more, we are actually there where it is no longer strange or weird to wonder out loud whether someone is actually really human. Over a short period of time, and largely due to someone like David Icke, the whistleblower, things have changed, and UFO or UAP stories, including aliens or not, have become commonplace, and no one is rushing to book you a bed in an insane asylum. However, there are times when I personally do feel like I am in an insane asylum, when listening to everyone's hypothesis on what is real and what is not. There are those talking about interdimensional beings, time travelers, interplanetary travel, being from under the ocean, and aliens among us, which also supposedly come in various shapes and sizes, the tall whites, the Nordics, and the bad ones, namely the nasty reptilians. I do not comprehend the interdimensional hypothesis, nor do I comprehend the time-travelling business. I can be a parrot and tell you word for word what others say about this, because I listen to it often enough, but it does not correspond with the little I know about science. I understand the concept of the molecules of a solid object being closer to each other than the molecules of a liquid. And then, of course, the molecules of gas are even further apart. But geez, how far apart must the molecules of something be to travel through dimensions, which I interpret as space and time? And then, when it reaches its destination, it must have the ability to pull those particles together and materialize. Now, my mind does not quite want to put that all together and form any kind of humanoid shape. At least not a walking, talking, blinking, farting shape at the very, very least. I would guess the same would apply to time traveling. What has passed is mostly dead and buried, 6 foot under, they say. My brain, and I'm sure the brain of many others, cannot comprehend a way of moving back to a time when our parents or grandparents or even great-grandparents are still alive in a physical form. Having said all of that, I am willing to set that aside. After all, why bother, trying to understand something until the truth reveals itself? What concerns me and others like me who do not wish to re-study physics in order to try and understand the hypothesis of interdimensional beings or time travelers are those who supposedly walk among us. So it was while talking to some very clever, highly educated people that I heard something thrown into the conversation which maybe I should not have heard. Oh yes, I can understand the Nordics among us. Yes, I can understand the tall whites among us. Heck, I would even easily believe that there are humanoid creatures with bases under the ocean, because God knows we as humans have not even discovered 20% of the creatures under the ocean yet. As a matter of fact, scientists are of the opinion that 91% of life under the ocean has not been discovered or recognized yet. What baffled me, or then blew my flapjacks, were the reptilians. Apparently, allegedly, the British royal family are reptilians. How? Why? What about? The questions immediately shot into my mind. I'm not unfamiliar with David Icke. I have listened to him for years, more as entertainment than fact-seeking. He himself said there was a time in his life when his brain resembled scrambled egg, when he did not know his front from his backside. But even though he now considers himself sane, he still tells the story of the royals being reptilian or shape-shifting during rituals and so forth. And it was during a light-hearted mention of this that my mind went back to Charles's behavior while being asked about a future wife. At that moment, I could easily have believed that he was, and maybe still is, a shape-shifting reptilian, or maybe even a snake. I was still dreaming up these images when I overheard a conversation which maybe I should not have. Pity we cannot tell the truth, she said. We know that reptilians are not shape-shifters, but that it refers to a secret, very secret society. Suddenly the bell rang, and I knew exactly where it was ringing. A whole load of knowledge and understanding opened up. Suddenly I understood that it was true and that aliens were walking among us. Sometimes they are not exceptionally tall or pale or have bright blue eyes. Heck, they may not even be short and grey. Some look just like us. Tall, short, fat, thin, dark or pale, blue eyes, grey eyes, green or brown. It is not about how they look, but about how they act.